Hey, what's up, tennis fans? I'm James Waterson, and I'm here with Liem Thai. And welcome to Tennis Now's Point Counterpoint show, where we talk about all the things that are going on in tennis. Now, for years, tennis fans have loved to debate certain things, like, for example, who's the best player ever, who's had the best serve, who's had the best forehand. And this time we're going to talk about who's had the best calendar year in the Open era. And I'll leave it with you, Lim. Who do you think has had the best year?
I don't think anybody can disagree with me. I think Novak Djokovic had the best year of all time in 2011. He won 41 consecutive matches. He won 3 out of 4 Grand Slams. He went to the semifinal in the French Open, which he lost to Federer. And I would say Federer is the best player of all time up to date. If he would have beat Federer, he definitely would have beaten Nadal in the final, and that would have put him over the top.
And I think you're crazy. I think that Djokovic, I will not disagree with you that Djokovic has had an outstanding year. It's certainly one of the best in Open era history. But I would say that Federer, in any of the years that he's won 3 of the 4 Grand Slam titles, has had a more impressive year just because of the fact that in some of those years, really the only person he lost to on the tour was Rafael Nadal.
And I would say that Nadal actually had a better year than Federer in 2010. Nadal, he won 3 out of 4 Grand Slams on 3 different surfaces. That is really hard to do. Not many players have even won French and Wimbledon back to back, but Nadal won French, Wimbledon, and then the U.S. Open.
Well, and Federer has certainly done that too with hard courts and grass.
Okay.
So you can make that argument. Although I will concede, this will probably be the first time I concede anything to you.
Okay.
That the transition from clay to grass to hard is certainly more difficult. But I will say that you're crazy in that you need to look further back to see what the most impressive year in the Open era was. 1969 Rod Laver. He won the calendar year Grand Slam, all 4 majors. He beat some of the game's best players in its history, and I'm talking about Tony Roach, John Newcombe, Roy Emerson. You really can't beat that.
Well, that's true, but if you think about it, Rod Laver won 3 on grass. It's not as competitive as it is nowadays with the new competition, the more advanced skilled tennis players that they have now. So I think with the ability to win 3 out of 4 Grand Slams now, it's much harder than winning. Of course, a calendar year is hard to do, and only Rod Laver has done it. But I still think Djokovic and Nadal have had better years than Roger Federer and Laver.
And I would say that a lot of the players back then, and I mean, let's not say that the game is any deeper now than it was then, because he still had to beat players who went along to be part of the International Tennis Hall of Fame.
That's true.
And he had to beat the best on the biggest stage 4 times in the same year. That is extremely difficult. Sure, I can understand the surface argument, but you have to remember that the game wasn't as varied as it was, as it is now. So a lot of the players who were at the top, they played in that style, serve and volley. So not very many players were at a distinct disadvantage strategically because a lot of them played the serve and volley style game because they had to in order to be successful.
Okay, so my argument is that I say Djokovic is the best in 2011. Who do you think had the next best year, or who do you think tops Djokovic?
Laver, I'd say Laver. I'd say that I would put Djokovic's year definitely in the top 3.
Okay.
But I think that Federer would probably be above him. Just limiting it to 1 year, not career wise. But I'd say that I would definitely put Laver at the top.
Well, my argument now is that there's way more tournaments now than back in the day. So time after time, Djokovic has always had to beat the top players in consecutive tournaments, consecutive Grand Slams.
Well, yeah, okay, you can say that. So comparing him directly to Laver, perhaps, but you could say Federer, and going back to the Federer argument anyway. The year that Federer lost to practically nobody but Nadal, again, using that argument, Federer played strong throughout the entire year, compared to Djokovic, who actually kind of fell apart after the U.S. Open because of injury.
Well, I understand that. I mean, injuries happen, but I mean, to start out the year 41-0, I mean, he's played so many matches. I mean, injuries are gonna come. I mean, there's no way you can avoid them. He had back problems at the U.S. Open whenever he played against Nadal. I think that's whenever he kind of took it slow. I mean, he had a great year already. I mean, what can you ask from the guy?
Well, and I will not disagree with you. I think that he has certainly cemented his position in the history books for the kind of year he's had. So, I think that it's been a pretty good discussion.
Yes.
Thanks, Lim. Make sure to let us know what you think. Who had the best year in Open era history? Now, we of course left out some other people, like for example, Mats Wilander had a great year as well. So make sure to leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think, and thank you for watching.